Welcome to PR Talk, sponsored by the PRSA of Oregon and part of the MPN, the Marketing Podcast Network. This is your host, Amy Rosenberg, founder of Veracity and author of A Modern Guide to Public Relations. Help other people find our podcast by subscribing, rating, giving us a review, or sharing on social media. Hi, everybody. I have Hanson-dePaula here. She's the co-founder of Mixtus Media. Hi, Jen.
Hello.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and just really quick, Jen has her company with her husband, which is interesting, like I do. And they help authors with online book marketing. But first, Jen, I want to get into your background because I see that you were a publicist for many years for artists and musicians.
Yes. It feels like a lifetime ago. I started in 2000 and I worked at two different record labels. I'm based in Nashville, Tennessee. And so, I had two different record labels that I worked for. And then in 2005, I started an independent company because independent musicians around that time in about 2005, when social media started and all that good stuff, we had a lot of independent friends that needed help with publicity. And I knew that there was no way they could afford traditional, like hiring a traditional publishing house. And, so I wanted to create something that would help them. And so I started the company then, and then it kind of morphed into working with authors. So it's been quite the ride.
So first you said publishing. So I always think of that for authors, but you were helping artists or musicians as well.
Musicians. Yeah. I started off in the music industry, and then I always dreamed of working with authors. And so when authors started coming to me for help with not only like their social media and their online marketing and publicity, but it was just like they needed guidance and they needed help. And so I jumped on the opportunity, and I really wanted to focus my energies. And so I decided to really just dive, full on into book publishing and helping authors.
Okay. So it looks like you did that. And I do want to hear all about that and why you love working with authors, but also, because it looks like you did traditional marketing and book publishing, and then you switched to just online. So I kind of want to hear about that as well.
Yeah.
So
it was. Yeah. I'm sorry. I just kind of interrupted you with that one.
Oh, well, I was just clarifying. So why did you switch to online rather than just helping originally like you were doing with publishing and traditional marketing?
Well, it really started around about 2006 or 2007. It was really around here. Like I have many different friends that are also in the industry. And like, this was specifically like in the music industry when I was kind of teetering between both music and authors. And it was a time when things were really uncertain because there were, things back then, we relied very heavily on the traditional form, like TV, print, newspapers and all that. And it was really changing dramatically at that point. And I remember having many conversations with some of my colleagues who were also, freelance, and they were like, what are we going to do? Because these magazines are going away. It's, everything is online. And at the time, no one really knew, no one really, like in my circle that I was working with, that they hadn't really gone into the online marketing side of things. And so I specifically remember after I had a conversation, I had just had my son. He was about 6 months old. I was sleep deprived, and it was just kind of like everything was just awful. You just everything in your head. And I had a meeting with a client, and it was after that meeting that I went to a park and I just sat in my car, and I just felt like, what is going on? It just kind of felt like everything was just kind of falling apart. And I decided then and there, I was not going to focus on what wasn't working. I was going to focus on what was working and what really what I saw things progressing towards. And that was everything really online and things digitally. And my husband is just this technical genius, really. Like he got his start in the music industry as well as an audio engineer and a live audio engineer. And so, he had all these technical aspects and, he was online a lot. And so I thought, what if we were just to kind of merge and use his technical know-how, his website development and, just everything online and with what I was doing. And we focus more on digital marketing and kind of the digital world. And that's really how we started to kind of dive into that area. And it was more of a kind of like walking with our hands, like we were walking in a room, a dark room with our hands outstretched, just kind of trying to find our way for a while. But then, like once we really started to find our footing and get things rolling, it just seemed like this natural thing to do. And we just hit the ground running. And it was, I love it. I really, really love it. And it's been something that we're all, it's always changing, it's always growing. And that just keeps me on my toes and it makes things interesting and fun.
So yeah, so many questions. I just love what you said, that you focus on what is working, not what isn't working. So I need to write that down and put it on my wall. But anyway, a quote from Hanson-dePaula.
There you go.
I like it. So let's see. So you were kind of giving just a one-off example about magazines, closing and whatnot. So I just want to clarify that when you were in that role of helping authors and you're worried about traditional media, you were doing the PR, not you were also. Okay. Yeah, it is. And so then so many questions because I am an author, there's that, there's something to talk about there. But is it just easier to, okay, let me just be frank with you. And I'm devaluing my own work here, but I kind of think like a lot of people write books, and I kind of think just because I am an author and I just wrote 200 page, real booky book, but aren't there a lot of authors? And it's like, I can't. So as a PR person that just does traditional PR, I won't take an author because there's too many authors out there. Like I can't get you on TV. So what do you say to that?
Oh, yes. Well, something that was very interesting, like when I went from working with musicians to authors, and it's funny because I just had this conversation last night with, it was like musicians just know intuitively that once they create their music, their album, whatever, they need to go out and play live. They need to go out and share the music. There's this marketing, it just kind of naturally comes to musicians. But with authors, what I so love about authors is that it is, I don't love this about it, but it's a lonely job. You're sitting there with your computer, you're by yourself, and you're really exposing your mind and your thoughts and your ideas. And it's very vulnerable and it's very intimidating. And with musicians, there is this collaboration aspect to it. You have it, whether it's in the studio or with a band, there's collaboration. But with writers and authors, you're doing that by yourself. And it's something that is lonely, and you don't have like this network of people that are, really educating you and leading you to like, okay, this is what I need to do next. And so what I like with our company, my passion is empowering and educating authors on how to actually, again, focusing on what you can do rather than what you can't do, is focusing on building your own audience, whether that be through social media, whether that be through, connections with the media, whether that be through connecting with other organizations. If you write nonfiction, if you write fiction, thinking about how you can connect with readers in an organic way, through your libraries or through, bookstores and all of that good stuff. So there are many different ways, but really, yes, there are a lot of authors out there, but I don't know if you've ever watched the show Schitt's Creek.
Mm-hmm.
With there's that episode where David, the son, and Moira, the mother, they're cooking, and he's sitting there, and she's like, now you fold in the cheese, and he's like, what do you mean? And she says, you fold it in, and they go back and forth where she just keeps repeating herself. You just fold it in. And I feel like that is what publishing is saying to authors. Well, you have to market your book. Well, what does that mean? Well, you market it. I know that you're saying I have to market it, but what does that mean? And it's just kind of this, there hasn't been this educating and empowering of authors to know what they need to do with their books. Is everyone going to be a multi-million-dollar selling author? No. But is there an audience out there for your book? Absolutely. And it's really thinking about who you want to connect with, where those people are hanging out, and meeting them there. And I know that's really simplifying the process, and it's a lot deeper than that. But that is really what authors can do to help themselves get their book out there, because this is something, and this is also something in like mainstream media right now with Penguin Random House trying to buy Simon & Schuster, and all of this information is coming out, like in the media, with publishers basically saying, we don't know what we're doing. They're just kind of playing it by vibes almost, and so it's something where it's kind of this unknown territory for some authors, because they don't know, okay, do I want to go with a traditional publishing house, or do I want to self-publish? And so it's really, I want to help guide them in making the best decision for themselves, but also empowering them with what they need to do, because whether or not they're traditionally published or self-published, they are going to have to market their book. And so there needs to be more education out there for them and help in helping them actually do that.
Okay. So then I want to get into how you do that and all your services, because I know you have a lot, but as the negative author that likes to sit behind her computer all day and not necessarily talk to anyone. I mean, that's not true, because I'm doing this that's half of who I am. So I'm like an outgoing introvert, if that makes sense. But now I forgot. So there's just so much. Oh, I know. Okay. So there's a lot of authors. You did mention that you might not make a lot of money on being an author. Okay, that's fine. So then you make money somewhere else, which is either your day job or your company, like me. And so if I have multiple things to market, such as my company, it's like, where does it all go? Like, do you have to have a different social media account for your book, or should it run under your company to get your company some leverage and visibility and so forth?
Yeah, I look at, especially with nonfiction, the book is really an ancillary product, because it's a low cost entry into what you provide and your services. And a book, when someone like you, who owns a company, who has a lot of knowledge and has expertise in a specific area to share, a book is a fabulous way to do that, to really also kind of give yourself that, really giving you something really to stand on, because not everyone writes a book. When you say, oh, I wrote a book, people are like, oh, wow, that's impressive. And so it is something that gives you something very strong to stand on. But with a business, the book can really help get you into new arenas, whether that be in the speaking sector, whether that be, with just getting new clients. I know many authors who, own companies that book, like they sell books like crazy when they have speaking events, or when, they have like a workshop or something like that. The cost of their book is baked into that fee so that everyone gets that book. And it's really a marketing tool within your business. And so that's what really sets things apart for, like fiction and nonfiction. Fiction is a whole other beast. But with nonfiction, you can really leverage a lot from your book to help amplify your business. And so going to your question of, do you have a social media outlet, for your book? No, what I would recommend is using your company's platforms to just, it's more content marketing, really. You can use that, to talk about a specific problem in a social media post and, address something there and say, if you want to know more, grab my new book. The link is in my bio. You can kind of use it as a call to action to draw more attention to your book. And it also amplifies your services and everything else that you offer.
Mm-hmm. And so, as an author, so this is definitely maybe this episode is helping your audience rather than mine, because I don't know how many authors I have on here. So I guess I'll just use this time to pick your brain. And it's very interesting, your background anyway, and the way you look at things. But here's the thing. And, honestly, everyone could probably feel this. There's many things where I don't market myself. Mm-hmm. So the one way I'll tell you as an author first, but then other ways that other people could relate to. But as an author, I am not sitting around thinking about marketing, right? As I'm creating a book, because I will get distracted. And if I won't finish it. So if I think about going to a publisher or this, that, and the other, it's like, I will not finish the stupid book. So I made myself finish it, and then I'm burnt out. But then, another example though is, when I was a realtor, we don't market ourselves. We don't have time. I have to market my listings, right? I can't, and same as a marketing company, I have to market my clients. I don't really have time to market my, company. So what do you say to authors or people with all of those kind of issues?
Well, it's something that I do hear a lot. It's something where, it's when it comes to making a decision of how you want to market your book, there are a couple of options. First of all, you can hire a company. You can, spend thousands of dollars a month for them to market your book. Which, there are companies that do that. You can, focus on, really turning things around and saying, okay, I really want this book out. It's really changing your mindset of, I want this book out there in the world. I need to do something about it. And, then doing it yourself. But, it's something where when I talk to authors, it's really some tough love, because I understand the frustration, and I understand that, the lack of time. And it's something where, okay, you do have some options, but it's kind of like that. You have to pick, do I want to spend a lot of money entrusting my book's marketing to another company, or do I find the time? Do I, sit down and carve out some time so I can focus on, so I can start marketing my book? And the thing that I think a lot of authors think is that this is going to absolutely consume them, when if you do a little planning, and if you do some intentional, it's really, I call it intentional marketing in terms of not just throwing some social media posts out there or just kind of randomly doing things. It's intentionally being where your readers are and spending some time there. So for example, let's say you do want to invest some time into social media. That does not mean that you have to spend hours and hours and hours a day on Instagram, let's say. I only you only really need to spend about maybe 5 or 10 minutes a day on Instagram, just responding and engaging with people that you actually want to engage with. And, like posting 3 times a week. And it's really about awareness. Social media is an awareness building tool that you can spend some time on every day, just like checking in. But if you plan ahead, like I spend maybe an hour a week on all of our social media outlets, just scheduling everything and getting things out there.
And let me just interject for everybody. Like, you have a big following. You have 28,000 followers on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So I just want to sit, I want to let that sink in. So, okay, keep going. And so basically what I'm saying to everyone is listen to Jen. She has a lot of followers. You can do it no matter what industry you're in. So keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, and it was also something where last year so with the rise of TikTok, and the book industry especially has just seen this huge boom of sales through engagement on TikTok. And so I reluctantly at first, kind of got on TikTok. It was in October, I think it was. Now I have almost 12,000 followers there. And it's something where it's okay, this, I can see, how this really works and how, you can connect with people in a genuine way and provide a service for them without it taking over your life. So it's something where I thought for a while, okay, this is just, with Instagram or because I also do Pinterest and all those things, but it really does not need to take over your life. And when you are just intentional and when you don't, something that I think also overwhelms people's minds is the idea that they have to talk to everyone, that they're talking to millions of people at a time, when really you should, I use this thing, it's called the ideal reader profile. And what it is it's creating kind of a singular person in your mind that you are talking to on your social media posts. So this could be a client that you had where you thought, if every single client that I had was like this person, I would jump at the chance to work with them. Or if this is the ideal person to read my book because they have these problems or these questions, that is who you're going to talk to. And it's not that is going to minimize or shoot anyone else out. What it's really doing is helping you to be specific and being very targeted within your messaging, because when you just talk to everyone, you're actually talking to no one and you just contribute to that noise that's online. But when you know the problems and the questions and the issues that your ideal reader is having, you're able to create content and create posts and blogs and podcasts, whatever you're creating that is specifically for them. And that is just going to draw them like bees to honey, because they see, oh, she's answering my question. She has the answers. I want to know more. So it's really, when you can really kind of get that mindset of just talking to one person, and it's a big game changer in terms of how you view your time on social media and just within your marketing in general. And it really helps you to save a lot of time as well.
I love that. And it kind of focuses us so we don't feel so overwhelmed.
Exactly.
And also we can feel more confident because we did write that book for that person. So
exactly. And that's, yeah. And I don't know if this is something that you struggled with, but I have so many authors who are so afraid of someone, saying, oh, this is stupid, or, oh, what do they think? And really, and also, getting bad reviews, it's like, oh, what if they hate it? What if they think they laugh me off, And I always say, yeah, there are going to be some people who just don't get it, but they are not your ideal reader. That is not who you're talking to. And so focusing on that person is really going to help you to kind of forget about those, those naysayers. And when you focus on the people that you're actually getting to help, that you are serving. Like I have several clients right now that are, they're both psychologists, and they are talking about very serious issues, and they are helping save people's lives, and one of them had a little meltdown yesterday. She's like, what if they hate this? What if, and I was like, think about the people that you are helping. Think about, like all of these people that have nowhere to go, and they find, like they have your book now. And it's really thinking about how you are serving people and how you're helping them. That really is it's a blessing to you, but it's also a blessing to them.
Yeah. Well, I do want to segue into all of your services and what you do for everyone, but just to kind of piggyback on that, when you originally mentioned, musicians know what to do, I originally thought, let's just say this, I originally thought possibly that was ego. So like marketing is a little bit of ego, but it does make sense that maybe it wouldn't be, because they're just out there, they're creating things for people, and they've probably learned how to do it live, and then they record, which is not per se live. But I think authors are insecure. So for example, I just read, this is a little trite, but Grapes of Wrath, John Steinbeck, he just said in there, because there's some quote, there's a lot of the book I got with that. There's a lot of side notes there that you can kind of go back. And apparently while he was writing that, he thought he was a terrible writer. He was really insecure. He took a long time to write that, actually, and very insecure. And they didn't like the ending. His publisher did not like the ending because it could have been inappropriate. I won't ruin it, but and he said, he was just like, didn't care, because it was like, at that point, you're just like, it's for my reader. So like, F off. Sorry.
Yeah.
But, I think maybe we are insecure, and maybe, I don't know if musicians are.
Well, the interesting thing is that there is a department there. This has really kind of started to go away, but they're back in, like several years ago. And I think you can sense this even within music. There was a department called artist development. And what this department did was, when you had like a brand spanking new artist, maybe they're young, maybe they're just very new to everything, this department really helped shape and mold and really help them to really not only get a good grip on their style, and really help usher out new songs from them, and help them to get the best out of their writing sessions. And, just really, we did like media training with them, and really helped form them and guide them and really mold them as an artist, not just within the music, but within how they present themselves, within their style, within, how they do interviews and all that good stuff. And really within publishing, there isn't any of that for authors. And it's something that I think is desperately needed, because as more and more people begin to, write books and to enter into publishing, it's something where I do think like having a book coach or someone that can help you with these different aspects is really a great thing to have, because it is something that, like, back, even 10, 15, 20 years ago, that artist development, that really gave the artist confidence, because they were educated and they were really taught how to do these things. Authors really don't have that. And so again, it's just kind of like this lonely space where, I'm really trying to help authors to, create community and get them to talk to one another, to learn from one another.
Definitely. So tell us about, so you're trying to create community, and what else so I'm looking at, I saw your website, you have things people can buy and workshops, and just tell us all about what you offer.
Yeah, well, we have several different offerings. There are many authors who just want some specific help in certain areas. And so we do have certain products, like we have something specifically for Instagram, for example, like the Instagram Ideas Bundle, where, like we have like caption templates and prompts and all that good stuff. And we have specific products that are low cost that authors can buy. So that is there. But then we also have our membership program, which we just launched about 2 months ago, and it's called the Author Circle. And it's a place where you can get really everything that you need to learn how to market your book, how to use social media, and your newsletter. And I offer monthly workshops, and I have monthly office hours. And there's just new information that's offered there all the time. And there's the community aspect. I hate Facebook groups. So I wanted something that, like offered a place where authors can talk to one another and share their wins and share ideas and stuff like that. And the Author Circle has that. And then I also offer one-on-one coaching packages. And that's more of, like one-on-one time with me, where I help them specifically with their questions and problems, and we work through their launch together and all of that good stuff. So there are a variety of different services that we provide at different price points.
So if you missed working with you during your launch, meaning you're a writer and you missed that key time frame, is it too late?
It's never too late. That's the thing with marketing a book, is that your book has a very, very long life ahead of it. And I think for years we've put such an emphasis on the actual launch of the book that we kind of ignore what I call the follow-up phase. And that phase begins like 2 weeks after your book launches into infinity, because you can always revive and bring new life to your book and to increase sales and to get it out there. So it's never, ever too late.
Okay. And what final advice would you have for PR people that are trying to work with authors? Is there a special way to go about it, or a special thing to remember?
The thing with authors that I've learned is that a lot is expected of them, even if they have a traditional publishing deal. And remembering that they are creatives, and creative people oftentimes don't think about like the business side of things. That does not come as naturally. And so communicating in a clear way, where if you can help them in a certain way, but if they might not even understand, like, oh, why would I need that? Why would I need media training? Or why would I need to talk to, someone at this publication? It's really about having some empathy for them and understanding that they might need a little bit extra handholding, and just making the process as easy as possible for them to understand, and to actually kind of build that trust with you as a PR person, because there's a lack of trust, I think, as well. So that would be it's a simple piece of advice, but it's a very, very powerful one.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. That was a wonderful way to end. And I really appreciate your advice and just, hearing your approach on things.
Well, thank you for having me. I always love talking with fellow PR people and an author as well. I love that.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. For more PR insight, be sure to check out Amy's book, A Modern Guide to Public Relations, at prtalk.co. Also, please subscribe, rate, or leave us a review.